Be sure to subscribe for your chance to win a custom leather playmat when we hit 2,500 subscribers. Welcome to Fast Effect Double Speed Magic the Gathering from ELD's Time Vault Games in Bellingham, Mass. Playing over Discord now, and we have some incredible prizes that are going to be given away at random on top of our 100% payout. So every one of my tournaments, I always give out 100% of the entry fees as credit. That is just kind of our signature move here at Time Vault. And we also do a whole bunch of promos in between each round. So right here, whole stack of promos. Every new player adds a additional door prize. So we just do a random drawing for one of those cards. And we also allow people to nominate at the beginning of the event anything awesome that's going on, birthdays, new jobs. Someone saved a turtle at one point. That's probably my favorite so far. And then also, if your opponent makes a sick play, you can use that to trigger another door prize. So we give out all sorts of them. I mean, last night I gave out, 12 door prizes, something like that. And then we finished the evening with an incredibly large door prize, thanks to additional prize support from Fee, one of our benefactors here of the channel. He has donated an incredible amount of stuff. Last night it was a VIP booster of Double Masters. That's like $110+ value. We have one more of those, plus a Gaia's Cradle, a Mox Diamond, mana crypts, I think 4 mana crypts, a bunch of fetch lands, and we are going to be, see that prize wheel in the background there? At the end of the night, we're going to be spinning that wheel and giving away one of those cards for the next couple of months. We're going to be doing that, so really exciting every Wednesday night. And usually I cut out the shuffling at the beginning here. I thought this was going to get going. I'm going to skip ahead so we don't... Oh, beautiful. Here we go. Once Upon a Time, leading out from Jason on Turbo Depths. Great printing. A card that is not the worst, just as an impulse for the decks that play it. And that's pretty much the decks that are still happy playing it as a 4 of. Obviously, if you have it in your opener, it's an incredibly solid start. The decks that are playing it as 4 ofs generally are also happy to spend 2 mana to cast it later on. I know I'm playing that in Cloud Post, and the ability to find those extra Cloud Posts is super welcome, but it can also find pretty much everything in the deck. I mean, you can find creatures from Elvish Reclaimer all the way up to your bombs, and certainly in Turbo Depths, it's very, very similar. Instead of looking to assemble a ton of mana, you're just looking to assemble your Dark Depths with either Thespian Stage or Vampire Hexmage, and make it quick. The Swords to Plowshares from Matt, taking out the Elvish Reclaimer. And now we've got the Vampire Hexmage. Swords is a valid answer to Merit Lage. Not the most exciting thing to give your opponent 20 extra life, but it's certainly better than just dying. And here we see a Dark Depths, 2 Hexmages, and an opposing Thoughtseize. So there's going to be a 20/20. It's just a question of if Matt has an answer for it. And we're going to find out like right now. We're going to see a Dark Depths being played. And during Matt's end step, it's going to be go time. A Dark Confidant just for good measure. And Vampire Hexmage sending in there. Keeping Matt well below the 20 life that Merit Lage can eliminate. Oh, wow. Wow, interesting. So, not actually making a 20/20 during the end step. Instead, waiting until he has access to Inquisition, and Matt scooping it up, which is kind of surprising, because Matt could top deck like a Swords to Plowshares. I mean, he was in terrible shape. Absolutely terrible shape, but I don't know that he was actually 100% dead there. I might have missed something. Turbo Depths, probably a pretty tough matchup here for Dead Guy Ale, a deck name I haven't really seen in a while. This was I think did it win or did it come in second place at the first ever GP for Legacy? I actually went to that one. Wild Time. Time Vault was still legal. Very interesting format. GPs are a very different thing too. Like time considerations are different in those type of events. Like going to time. A lot of the time people getting to their seats take a little bit longer. So you may not have the full 50 minutes depending on how they're managing the clock. And, local tournaments also a little bit easier potentially to manage the clock with your opponent when it's strangers. There's just a different social cost. If somebody's going to end up with a draw because they played a little bit too slowly at a GP and you're never going to see that person again, that's a very different thing than, just being the guy that plays too slow at your card shop. We're really, really fortunate with our player base. And both of these players actually with super defensive starts. We've got a Sylvan Safekeeper and then a Mother of Runes. And that's just a really interesting matchup here. We've got Umezawa's Jite, which threatens to get counters, which can take out the Sylvan Safekeeper. And Matt also has Wasteland, which can really slow things down. So there's all sorts of interaction to consider here. A Dark Confidant. Whoa. Jason just going full-blown YOLO. I think I might cash in this Mother of Runes to take out both of these threats. Sylvan Safekeeper taking down the mom, but two counters get on there. One of them immediately used to clear that Dark Confidant, and Matt looks like he's in pretty good shape here. That Jite, not normally a all-star in this matchup, but it does line up extremely well versus Sylvan Safekeeper. And that's going to make Matt's other removal like an actual answer to Merit Lage. A Path to Exile or Swords to Plowshares can take out the 2020. As long as Matt keeps the advantage, he'll eventually get there. I mean, attacking 4 extra turns, not really that big a deal. Oh, wow. What a back and forth game. Plague Engineer comes down and wrecks all the humans. Wasteland taking out Thespian Stage and now a Lingering Souls. Matt using these Wastelands very aggressively to go after the mana, just like limiting the quantity of mana, may not be respecting the combo enough. But he's got a pair of Lingering Souls tokens now. And those can block a Merit Lage and buy some time. There'll be some flashing back going on as well. Looks like Jason's considering to do something with his Thespian Stage. He might be thinking about making it a forest just to make it wasteland proof. No, he's actually just got a play here of a Dark Confidant. And that is just going to soak up Jite counters. Seems very likely that this Confidant is far too dangerous to live. He's taken out, and now a Prismatic Vista fetches, and it looks like we'll have a couple of more tokens coming along for the ride. So many basic lands here for Matt. And it looks like he is out of tokens. Vampire Hexmage comes down. Don't worry, Matt. Cal actually just sifted through all like 50,000 of our tokens. So if you need more spirits, the shop definitely has some. We've got a crop rotation. during the end step, and a 20/20 is getting made. But there are some blockers. Oh no, I'm sorry. So it was actually Hex Mage, crop rotation. That sequencing I don't think was optimal. You can definitely end up getting a 20/20 out of that deal if you crop rotation first. It looks like there was a crop rotation after the Hex Mage, which both GT counters ended up getting used to kill the Hex Mage in response. I believe that's what we saw. That is not typical, so I might have misinterpreted that. But the board state continues to be in favor for Matt here as he gets more and more counters, and now a Vindicate, taking out Elvish Reclaimer before it can even activate. And that is enough. That is enough for Jason there. Matt picking up that game. Okay. So we are back here after shuffling, and we're going into game number 3. Game number 1, Jason playing very cautiously, waiting until he had Inquisition to make sure that his Merit Lage was going to be able to deal lethal. And game number 2, Matt riding Lingering Souls, along with some very aggressive spot removal, both land destruction with Wastelands, Vindicate, Umezawa's Jite, just murdered so many permanents there. And I will definitely want to re-watch at some point when I take a break from making the videos to go back and re-watch, because I am actually curious about that interaction. My first guess, I think, may end up being accurate, that the Merit Lage could have been made with more precise sequencing. Little inaccuracies can make a big difference in Legacy. We have this Mox Diamond along with an Urborg pitching the other Urborg, and Matt may or may not take advantage of Urborg to be able to cast his spells without sacrificing his lands. Staying above 20 can be very useful. Inquisition of Kozilek. It's a little late, as we've already got a Sylvan Library down, which threatens to pull Jason super far ahead. But both players playing Inquisition. Nobody expects that. We've got Abrupt Decay, Crop Rotation, and an opposing Inquisition. Fetch land happens. Swords to Plowshares. In aggressive decks, sometimes will be used on their own creatures in order to survive a hit from Merit Lage. I've seen that plenty of times where the Merit Lage is turning sideways, a little bit of chump blocking for a couple of turns, and then maybe even swordsing one of your own creatures to be able to absorb one of those hits for 20. And is that a second Sylvan Library with different coloration? I am not sure there. We've got a Fatal Push stopping Dark Confidant from becoming all he could be. He immediately goes to the bin before revealing any cards. No greatness for him. A Thoughtseize from Jason reveals Stoneforge, Surgical. Surgical's actually taken. And here's the Dark Depths into a Hex Mage. And this could be over pretty fast. Don't know what that card was, but it did take out the Vampire Hex Mage? Now Stoneforge Mystic comes in. Anybody let me know what that card is, and I will favorite the comments so everyone else can have a better context there. It is unclear to me why the Hexmage couldn't make a 20/20 in response to removal. But when Batterskull starts gaining life, it's going to be even more difficult for the 20/20 to be relevant. I think Wasteland, probably the best answer to opposing Wastelands in Turbo Depths. I think if I were to sleeve it up today, I'd probably sleeve up with, maybe 4 Wastelands. The builds that run all the Pithing Needles, I think, become significantly worse now that there's just a lot of ways of answering Needle in the format. We've got Oko just answering all of the permanents. I've seen Kaya lately in lists. I don't think she's super common, but Wasteland largely does the job and can also give you some nice free wins. Jason has plenty of mana. That looks like an M-Set card. It's got the new border and that type of coloration. Feels like it might be something from like M21. But we've got a Surgical taking the opposing Surgical. And we see a Batterskull, a Caracas. Oh, gross. Caracas is a big problem. It's a good thing Jason has the Wasteland for it. Jason waving off the ability to sift through Matt's deck. I don't know if they know each other well enough to know each other's lists. We've got people playing from all over the place now. California, Texas, New York, New Jersey, Connecticut. It's pretty wild. I think somebody in the Discord actually said they were from China. Which I did not actually catch if they joined us yesterday. We had 22 players with a handful of new players as well. Sylvan Library, so much better after shuffling. And a 2020's pretty much ready to be made. Sylvan Safekeeper. That is a lot of protection now. There are a whole bunch of lands. That's going to prove to be a bit of an issue. Batterskull coming down. Swords to Plowshares, so it's Caracas and Swords. But there are 2 extra lands lying around. Does Matt have yet another way of dealing with the 2020? Swords to Plowshares, targeting the Sylvan Safekeeper. And that is going to float a mana and protect itself. And now it's Merit Lage time. Just 1 land left. Liliana's Triumph clears away the Sylvan Safekeeper. And Jason gives Merit Lage protection for just this 1 turn, and that's going to be enough. Wow. So Jason facing down a Caracas, but he's got the ability to just keep Merit Lage alive for one more turn. Does that even work? I mean, Matt had access to a Karakas. Could he have played the Karakas and then bounced the Merit Lage on Jason's turn after the protection from Sylvan Safekeeper went away? This is a wild match. I'm going to have to rewatch it. This is really wild. Let me know how that actually played out in the comments and see if I missed it there. But I think that might have actually been the case. Either way, I mean, I'm doing these in one take. So if I make mistakes, they stay on camera. If people are making mistakes, they're going to show up. We get to learn no matter what when we're watching these legacy games. And as always, thanks for watching. That is all for this one. But don't worry, there is a lot more. You can check out our older videos, and we're always putting out new videos from ELD's Time Vault games in Bellingham, Massachusetts. If you want to help the channel, of course, you can like, subscribe, share, tap that notification bell so you can know the next time our new videos come out. Thanks for watching.